kind of just like more the secure borders, probably. It's probably like the main policy I'm on board with, getting illegal immigrants out of our country.
Okay, what's one benefit of like mass deporting undocumented immigrants?
Keeping criminals out, whether violent or non-violent, because regardless, either way, whether they did commit a violent or non-violent crime or not, they're still being a criminal by being here. So lowering overall crime rates.
Actually, no, that's not true. Mass deportation would increase crime rates because it would harm the economy, and a harmed economy makes people poorer, and with more poverty comes more crime, right? Also, undocumented immigrants lower the crime rates because of the fact that they're multiple times less likely to commit any sort of crime, whether it be violent or non-violent. So that's not necessarily true.
Where I'm not trying to be like, whatever. Can I just like know where you got the
Yeah,
source from, or
PNAS and FBI data reports all suggest that undocumented immigrants are multiple times less likely to commit any sort of violent crime. American Immigration Council is going to be my source for that. Mass deportation harms the economy by reducing our GDP, reducing the amount of money that we get. And then, according to FBI data reports, with poverty comes more crime. So those are my three sources.
right? Well, do you know what also is counted as a non-violent crime? Weapon smuggling, drug dealing, child
Less
That's not
likely to
true.
trafficking.
commit
That's
any
not
sort
true.
of violent or non-violent crime.
You
Also,
just said
weapons
violent in your first point. That's
weapon
why I was.
smuggling is considered a violent act.
Well, even then, we still have the drug dealing, child trafficking, which isn't.
But
Uh,
undocumented immigrants are multiple
child,
times less likely to do drug dealing.
Also, the reason why rug smuggling isn't like such a big it's not considered a violent crime is because there's so much nuance to it that they can't say that every single time it's
right.
they're trying to sell it or do something like that, because it just could be personal use. It could be wow, it could be personal use.
Does
Or
that make it okay though? Like
no,
I
obviously
get what
not.
you're
I'm just
saying,
saying
but
this.
like what? Oh,
I'm
okay.
just saying this
The
is.
point isn't to determine whether or not something is morally wrong or right. The point is like legally and like what we define as in statistics. What you said is false. Undocumented immigrants or mass deportation of undocumented immigrants wouldn't decrease crime. It would increase crime.
hmm I mean, I'm just saying they're committing a crime by being here anyway, right? Like, isn't that kind of an agreeable fact? I guess.
I'd
It
rather
is a
take someone who
misdemeanor.
snuck over the border than someone who's actually like sold drugs or has beaten women. I'll be honest with you.
True. True, and let's say I know you said you don't care about his character, but like we have to you have to make sure that you uphold your characteristics on all sides, right? So you shouldn't support Trump if you care about law and order.
I know that
Because the
he's
supreme law of the
convicted
land is the
of.
Constitution. He's violated the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, 10th Amendment, 14th Amendment. He's considering violating the 22nd and the 25th
Wait, really?
Amendment.
How is he doing that?
Violated the First Amendment by calling CBS and NBC illegal, forcing media to have passes in order to go into the Pentagon. The whole mergers things that's been happening. Also, the Second Amendment, he passed unconstitutional bump stock bans in his first term, and now he wants to ban trans individuals from owning firearms. The Fourth Amendment is going to be it's going to
Wait, actually,
be
like trans individuals can't own firearms. Is that what he actually said?
he wants to do that. Yes, he wants to ban trans individuals from owning firearms. Even the NRA, a far right gun institute, said that wow, this is not okay. And then the
Yeah,
Fourth
that's not
Amendment is going to be
okay.
the fact that ICE can now enter homes without warrants. The Fifth Amendment, um, the prime case is going to be Kilmar Garcia versus Nome. The Tenth Amendment is going to be the fact that he sent the National Guard to Illinois. That's a violation of the Tenth Amendment because the governor did not request it or did not like accept it. Right, so he overstepped his boundaries. Also,
Yeah.
tariffs were deemed unconstitutional by the 10th Amendment. You have the 14th Amendment, which, by the way, was just deemed unconstitutional yesterday,
Hmm.
which tried to ban birthright citizenship in accordance with Executive Order 14160. And yesterday, the Supreme Court said, hey, this is blatantly unconstitutional. And then the 22nd Amendment, that's if he wants to run for a third term. And the 25th Amendment as well.
I mean,
He's
wait, he's
also
not
Also,
able to.
actually like run for a third term though. You can say you want to, but that's not really like
That's why I said
violating anything, is
possibly.
it?
That's why I said he's considering violating the 22nd and 25th Amendment. Because he
Oh,
hasn't
okay,
yet,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
considering it. He's also violated
Okay.
the Elections Clause, the Appropriations Clause, the Declare War Clause, the Take Care Clause. He's
What's
violated
that
the articles within the
mean?
Constitution. Sure, the elections clause, January 6th is a prime example. He sent fake electoral states to 7 key swing states. The appropriations clause, it's going to be the border wall in his first term, where he illegally funded the Mexican American border wall because Congress declined to fund it. But then he kind of moved money around when Congress has control, has power of the purse.
Hmm.
Um, Declare
I
war
mean,
clause, the war with Iran. And then I forgot which one else I said, but those are all examples of him
well,
violating
hold on, hold on, hold
constitutions.
on, hold on. If it weren't for Trump, wouldn't Iran have a nuclear weapon or other
Not at all,
countries
not
that?
in the slightest, because last year he literally said that Operation Midnight Hammer destroyed all capability for them to make any kind of nukes entirely.
That's what I'm saying. If it weren't for him, is exactly what I'm
If it weren't
saying.
for him, we wouldn't be in the situation now because the JCPOA prevented Iran from building nuclear weapons, and in 2018, under Trump's first term, he took us out of the JCPOA.
Also, another thing is he still has like provided zero proof for any of that they did have any if that they had any capabilities of making any kind of nuclear fissile material or
Well, I mean, if
bombs.
there's a possibility of it, we should try to eliminate it at all
There was
costs.
zero possibility. That's the thing. There was no evidence whatsoever. He just did it.
So,
It's literally back to fucking Bill Clinton again.
Iraq, yeah.
Yeah, it's back to Iraq, where we said they
mm,
have WMDs, and we just. I mean, like it's crazy. The first hour of the war, 160 little schoolgirls passed away because a American GBU 1,000-pound guided bomb hit their school.
It's a war of choice that shouldn't have happened.
Very
yeah,
unnecessary war,
I
and it's
agree.
fucking up our
It's
economy
just a
entirely.
yeah. Well,
Then
hold
why do
on.
you
I
still
wouldn't say like
support
an.
Trump?
I mean, just overall, just kind of like to get illegals out, just in general, because they're illegal. I have family that came here legally. They all came from not Mexico but Peru, and they were like, "Yeah, it's a headache, but we'd rather take 10 plus years and come here legally rather than like self deport or have the chance to never come back again if we were to get deported." And
All right,
I
let me ask you this then. In the
sure,
instance that let's say that he does do that, right? He gets rid of all illegals, everyone that came in here illegally, was born here illegally, whatever, right?
sure.
Let's say Trump did that. Now what? Because now we're stuck with a really shitty economy. We're stuck with very bad ties to other nations. We are losing partnerships left and right. We are losing friendships due to the fact that we are continuously giving support to Netanyahu and not helping Ukraine right now because Ukraine is a very big national threat, way bigger than Iran and Iraq right now.
We're not
What do
helping
we do
Ukraine at
then?
all, like ever.
Not as much, or not even as much. It's not even the as much part. It's we're barely helping or doing anything. It's mostly Europe doing it now
Well, we
because
cut funding for Ukraine at one point too.
yeah, we cut
Well,
funding
you
for
do
Ukraine. We
realize
stopped
that
sending them weapons.
Kamala's administration raised about 14. I think it was Bill. Hold on. I think it was in the millions or billions. She raised a
They
good bit
gave
for
14
Israel too, but
billion.
you guys didn't complain when that happened, right?
We did.
I
People
was
did complain.
complaining. I don't like Israel, the state of Israel, the government of Israel.
You don't like is like at all?
There's no
No, they're a
reason to like
genocidal
them.
state,
Oh, really?
and they're horrible
Yes,
allies.
they aren't. They're barely even allies. There's no reason to call them allies because
Right?
they haven't really done anything for us other than have us
Precisely.
have like our bases there just in case our oil fields get attacked.
Other
Which is the reason
than
why we
like
do support
killing U.S.
Israel.
service members in what 1973,
1967, the USS
67.
Liberty.
Yes, I forget the
Mm.
year. Horrible allies are committing genocide. What's the reason? I don't support Harris. I think like that's the main reason. Like some leftists didn't vote for her because of her stance on Israel. You know,
Oh,
but
okay. So I guess yeah, that also makes sense. I'm coming here to get educated. You know what I mean? Because I'm completely fine if I don't support Trump. To be honest, I just kind of want a lesser of two evils type of president, and
I
to
would
me,
argue
that's what
Lesser
like
of two
Trump
evils was
Harris.
is.
Kamala.
I would argue
The
like
Excuse
lesser
me?
yeah.
the lesser of two evils was Kamala because Kamala wasn't a
Really?
warmonger. Yes, because
Really? Well,
Kamala
here's the
wasn't a
thing.
warmonger.
She completely ruined the state of California whenever she was head of the something there. I don't
And how did she do
understand
that?
how.
How did she do that?
And what do you mean? How did she do that?
You can't just say, "Well, she ruined an entire state," and just say, "Well, I don't know how she did that." Like you have to give an explanation to how she did it. Like
All
I could
right.
just say
Well,
right now that Mike Pence and Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, they destroyed America right now, and I don't have to give a reason.
uh, Yeah, I
So true.
mean,
I can say that
so
about Trump. You shouldn't support Trump because he destroyed America with no reason provided.
yeah, I mean, if you guys will let me give this reasoning real quick.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
she was a San Francisco district attorney, and currently, I'm just reading. I know I don't specifically know everything. I just know that the crime rates were raised when she was in. Also, she got put as vice president with, or not vice president. People were just voting for her based on the fact that she is a black woman. I don't really care what.
It's not true.
I don't really care. You give me one source of anything that she did that actually had a positive impact,
Yeah, she had the
besides
most
being
tie-breaking
more
vote. She worked
inclusive
along Biden to
and being
pass
gay.
the infrastructure bill, the Chips and Science Act, all of these bills that greatly benefited America, and she had the most tie-breaking votes in VP history, modern history, which is literally her job to have tie-breaking votes. That's her job within like the Senate part as VP. Not only that, she worked in all three branches of the government, and you make the claim that like crime rate went up. I mean, yeah, we'd have to also acknowledge other data. Like, did crime rate go up all across the country within this time frame as well? Was it a significant increase? Or not a big increase? What did she do to cause this? What legislation did he pass to cause this increase? If it was just for California, but the point is here, I don't think you would have like any source or evidence for that. Thank you for the follow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
there's a lot of nuance to all this. That's
So,
the thing. When you do conversations like this and you just say, "Well, she ruined a state," there's nuance to it. You could say the crime rate went up, but why did the crime rate go up? What was going on at the time? What year was this? What conflict were we in? What recession were we in? There's all these things that go and get applied to all these claims, right? So, for instance, I
mhm.
could say the crime rate in the country went up in 2009 due to the fact that there was the '07 and '08 collapse of the economy, and people started to go homeless and lose all their money in their homes and everything. So, was everyone violent because George Bush? Should we just like destroy
So
George Bush's
true.
entire legacy, which
So
is also
true.
warmongering?
Yeah, that's true. I agree totally. But yeah, I agree with that. I get that. What about like, do you guys have a problem when Obama was deporting illegals?
Yes.
Okay, because that's also another thing I want to
That's
clear
why
up because a lot
I'm
of
not a Democrat. I'm a democratic socialist. Democrats are
wait, you're a
too.
what?
I'm a democratic
Democratic
socialist.
socialist,
Democrats are too
You're a
middle.
socialist?
A democratic
not
socialist.
What is that?
different
Wait,
kind.
what is a demo? I've never heard of a democratic socialist. What's
Democratic
what?
social. I think. Hold on. Who's a good example?
Zoran Mamdani.
He's a democratic socialist. I know Bernie's a socialist. Is AOC? I think she's a democratic socialist.
She
What
no, she
the Puerto
supports
Rican
socialism, but she's
one?
not a democratic socialist. Like she
So she,
supports Bernie,
is she a
just not like
socialist or a Democrat?
she's just a Democrat. She's not
Okay.
actually like
Yeah.
a socialist. She just
Yeah,
supports Bernie.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Bernie is
I
so
was
a good example would be Zoran Mamdani. Just the fact that like democratic values, but with social safety nets to a greater extent.
okay. So what
Thank you,
the
commie, in the YouTube chat. So true. Communism. Communism.
Two
Did
so
you know
what
Trump
completely
does
said
different
communism
entities.
is the greatest evil since World War I, World War II, and 9/11? Do you agree with that?
communism? I don't agree with that. I feel like, well, okay, hold on. That's just kind of weird to compare the two, even in my opinion. I don't really know how I would respond to that. That's just kind of a weird statement.
Well,
And no one,
that's what Trump said. He does
This is
a
yeah,
what
lot of weird
Trump
that,
said.
statements.
what's up?
He has a lot of weird statements. He said he loves inflation. He loves the inflation. That's
He
what he
also
said.
said that affordability is a Democrat. It's a
So
Democrat Ponzi
true.
scheme and a lie. So the reason you
He
can't
said he
afford
doesn't
your
care. He
groceries and
doesn't
stuff
think
like
about
that.
Americans when starting wars.
Oh, he also he loves making depictions of himself shitting on people while they're protesting, American citizens, by the way, which is really great for a president to do. Really
So true.
showing
He
how much
depicted
you
himself
care
as
for your
Jesus
citizens.
Christ too.
There's also that, and
Oh
you
yeah,
can't say
that
it was
AI Twitter
documented.
post. Yeah, that's kind of what's gotten me on the whole anti-Trump train. Um, and kind of just like trying to educate myself on this. But
I think the
you guys,
point
you
here
guys
that I
have
would
been a
make.
big. What's up?
I think the point here that I would make. Sorry for interrupting, but the point here that I make is you can be a Republican and hold these beliefs about immigration, which I would disagree with you, but that would be another conversation. But you could
For
be a
sure.
Republican and anti-Trump.
Yeah, that's what I'm like trying. That's probably what I'm more leaning towards, because I thought his
policies were like not really that horrible. And just from stats that I have pulled, like I screenshot certain things that I see when I'm on like my news app or whatever. And it's like, yeah, sometimes the Biden Harris administration wasn't as great in certain um, I don't know what you would call it, fields, I guess, such as inflation or prices of gas, even though they've been going up with the war in Israel. I just
Well, I
I
mean,
was
I
just
would
trying to.
argue that they did great with inflation. We were the fastest G7 country to recover from inflation. And
due to the fact
Biden
that
didn't make inflation increase or gas prices increase. In fact, Biden helped with the gas prices by
what?
producing the most oil in history, like oil per barrel
Wait,
per
didn't
oil.
Biden like shut down 2/3 of American reserves for
No,
gas?
No,
no. It
he
No.
had the
was
most
it was
oil like produced in American history,
Congress
I
shut
believe.
down one of our pipelines. It was Congress. It wasn't him. He didn't make the decision.
Well, doesn't
Like
he have to approve of things that go
No,
through
Congress
him?
approves of decisions. The
so the
Congress
Supreme
and
Court
the Supreme Court.
the Supreme Court ruled that nothing could be done with the XL pipeline, no permits, it couldn't be constructed any further. So it was a waste, just like having everything there. So Donald Trump then called, or not Donald Trump, Joe Biden then called for it to be closed since it wasn't even in use. So no, that didn't make gas prices go up because that was the Supreme Court. Also, even if it did, the Supreme Court deemed it to be the case. So he wouldn't have
Also,
violated the Supreme Court's orders.
what did make the gas prices go up was the war with Ukraine and Russia, and then on top of that was the war with Israel and Gaza, due to the
True.
fact that one Israel not Israel Russia has a very large pipeline that
Mm-hmm.
everyone was buying from, and we told everybody, hey, don't do that because we're funding them. We don't want them to have more money for this war to keep attacking Ukraine.
Mm.
Then we shut down their pipeline, stopped buying from them, made their economy drop as we should, and then the not Ukraine, the Israel Gaza war started. That started a lot of trouble and heat in the Middle East, and people couldn't really move around in oil tankers and shit for a while. However, also before that, the gas price did go up because the economy was collapsing due to the C-19. But after that, Joe Biden did bring back our economy from two wars that he didn't start, and
COVID.
from a global pandemic that literally fucked over entire countries, including Indonesia, Colombia,
Pretty much every single country.
Cambodia, a lot of Western Asian countries, like the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
The point is here that like Biden did could he do better? Absolutely, but he did the best he could in response to COVID, in response to the Russia-Ukraine war, and in response to Israel. No, he could have done better. He shouldn't have funded Israel. I agree with you there. But in response to like the aspects of what happened, the consequences of the wars and the global pandemic, he did great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think both in the end of Trump's 2016 to 2020 administration and the start of Biden's, they were both dealt a pretty bad hand with COVID and just with all these wars that either side is supporting. Um, but yeah, I'm glad I'm getting kind of more knowledge on this. Is kind of not like
Man,
shocking.
listen,
I'm really
back
not shocked about what you guys are saying about Trump because honestly, he is like not like a complete scumbag, right? But I don't I just don't really like the guy
I mean,
personally.
he's raped a woman. I think those people are scumbags, rapists.
Well, okay, I've heard that and I've done my own research and correct me if I'm wrong. He was tried one after you can legally sue for sexual assault in the state of New York. Two, he was tried in a civil court, not a criminal court, meaning you need just a likely case, not proof with beyond reasonable doubt.
So real
Uh,
quick, I'll just stop you there. You're saying just 51%? No, it's 51 to 100%, right? So it can be
Right,
51%
and
likely
knowing
or
the bias
100%.
and knowing the bias leftist judge and jury, whatever, that
It's not a
was
biased
trying
leftist
Trump.
jury. You want to know why? Because Donald Trump's own attorneys or E. Jean Carroll's attorneys argued there was someone pro-Trump on the jury, therefore they should be kicked off. Trump's own attorneys argued, hey, this isn't a reason to get them kicked off just because they're right-leaning. That this isn't a reason for them to get kicked off. So Trump's own attorneys argued that. So you can't say it was a biased jury. And then the first thing you said, it was a civil court, not a criminal court. The only question I'd ask you is, what is the reasonable doubt? Because in order for it to be a criminal court, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. But you can continue.
I mean, she couldn't even remember the season or year that she was assaulted. No.
95, 96.
Yeah, sure, that came out, but she at first couldn't even recollect the season or
It was winter.
the year. Excuse
Winter.
me?
It was winter. End of 95, beginning of 96. She said it was winter.
I
Yeah,
will.
but at
I will.
first she couldn't even remember it. So
I
what does that tell us? She had to fabricate
so
some kind of
so
story.
real quick. My mother had a very bad seizure and a very bad stroke. Right.
Right.
On 2 occasions, I had to watch her convulse on the floor, and I thought it was almost over for her because she has cancer and it's very bad. And I thought it was straight up almost over for her. I thought
Hmm.
I had to take my little brothers out of the room. I had to get them out so I don't watch my mother perish. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember when it was. I don't remember when I busted my head open really bad and I thought I was gonna bleed out because I was a scared 7-year-old. I don't remember when a lot of shit happened, a lot of traumatic shit happened. Same can be said for everyone else I speak to.
The
It's
point
not
is that
about
like
relying, it's about people forget when certain things happen because they're more focused on the bigger details of that event.
right, traumatic event, sometimes people choose to block that traumatic event and they don't remember anything, and that's completely normal.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense too. It just seemed a little shady being that it's in one after the time that you can legally sue. So she
Well, they
went to
changed the
a
law. Let's say they changed the law for her. Okay, wouldn't that be a good thing? She's still holding him accountable. That doesn't
that
prove that like she didn't get
um
raped.
that's really not like a good thing. She should have filed for it way earlier. Like I get, justice, and I'm not saying anti-justice, but like I don't know, you could have
Well, she
you
didn't
had
want to. She didn't
it was
never
like
wanted. She never
25
wanted to
years
sue him.
later.
She never wanted to sue him or hold him like she didn't want to sue him. The reason why she sued him was for defamation because he called her a liar whenever she called him a rapist. That's the reason why he sued her. If he didn't say anything, he would have never been sued because she also alleges
Because
that another man raped her.
he wasn't liable for rape under New York's
Sexual abuse.
codes.
Let's just say I don't go through all like forcibly penetrating a woman's vagina is rape. Let's just say I don't go through with this. Okay, he's still a sexual abuser. That's not any. That's not any better. Like, whenever people
No.
say he wasn't held liable for rape, it was sexual abuse. Okay, not any better.
Same thing,
It's
like if it was your sister or your daughter, like you'd be saying, yeah, it was rape, but
Right, like because it is rape. Forcefully penetrating a woman's vagina with your fingers is rape. Well, let's just say I
yeah.
grant it to you, and in some world, colloquially, it's not known as rape. Okay, sexual abuse is not any better.
Yeah, it's still a decent difference. Um but
It's not better.
I get it. No, it's not better at all. No. I have four
Plus, New
sisters. I
York now
wouldn't want that
classifies
to
that as
happen to
rape. By the
them.
way, if the court if the court was held today, it would be rape, and the judges then clarified that it was rape because they changed their laws after the fact.
Yeah, which that's honestly helpful. So, yeah. I don't know if I have any more let me think. So, and you guys have been a great help, honestly. So I'm just gonna stay my kind of right side, but not lean towards Trump, because really it felt like I was kind of forced to be a Trumpy the way that the media portrays it. If I am a Republican, if I am a voting Republican, which I didn't really
hey dog,
appreciate.
I'm a registered Republican. I
Yeah,
despise Trump. He ruined every value of being a Republican.
yeah,
He does
that's
not
that's what I'm
uphold our
saying.
ideology.
And with the media today in the past 10 years been so polarizing, you get automatically put somewhere you don't want to be. Like, I don't really feel like being a MAGA supporter anymore. I know some of my friends do. That's them. There's always a good part and a bad part to a president. I feel like with Trump, it's more bad than good
Exactly.
in a lot of areas. And I'm not sitting here saying like presidents in the 21st century were better than Trump. Overall, I feel like he's been a decent fit because I can't really name what Obama did that was good besides the huge crash with what was it, housing market, ruining school lunches. He deported a ton of people, and that's great. I feel like that's pretty cool.
The legalization of gay marriage,
Quite literally.
the unaliving of not Saddam Hussein,
What's
Osama
what
bin
I
Laden.
don't I don't understand. I'm religious, so I don't really mess with gay marriage. I feel like that's kind of just the
I mean, I'm
downside.
religious too, but it's not really like compared to everything else. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not like
Like
the worst thing that could
every
happen, I
sin is
guess.
not bigger than the other sin. However,
Yeah,
remember,
some are
all that
just
is
more
forgiven.
heinous.
All of that is forgiven. We are not supposed to intertwine material together either. Remember that we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to wear tassels upon our clothing to basically mark ourselves, right? We're
He's
not
not
supposed to
religious.
eat
He's
certain fish.
homophobic with an excuse.
So like being gay compared to everything else, it is fine and it's all forgiven, because then what did Jesus pass for? What was the purpose then? If we're all still gonna be punished and everything is so fucked.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyways, do you guys like just want to chirp on a little more to me about like what's so bad about just so I can have like a solid arc? Because I'm on a computer taking notes of what you guys are saying and looking at websites while you guys are telling me this stuff, to try to just kind of get a more solid argument on my own. So like, I'm just trying to.
There's the warmongering, obviously, the Dick Cheney levels of warmongering. There's the fact that he still gets mad at Israel and Netanyahu over the things that they do currently in this war, but will never actually do anything or make any of them take accountability for what they've done. Incredibly racist. He did say that he said on his True Social, tonight an entire group of people will be annihilated. And no one wants that, but it has to happen.
So true. He's also like pro Putin sometimes. Like
He's pro what?
He also is pro Putin,
pro
and
Putin sometimes.
he's a massive liar, especially when it comes to policy or anything of that matter.
Elections.
Well, I mean,
And
you can be
elections.
friends with Putin, right? Like, or is he saying
No.
he's pro communism?
Putin
No,
is
here's the
bad.
thing:
Putin
we
is
should
a
not
very
be
bad person.
not be friends with someone who has declared our country as their enemy. On top of that, we should not negotiate with terrorists and communists, because remember, Big Red Scare, we're not supposed to like commies.
Yeah, we're not supposed to.
We're not supposed to like the USSR, but however, we have Putin, who's been saying for years now that he wants to reinstate the USSR.
Also, he's just
That
like
was
a
another
war
reason
criminal,
for
by the way.
inflation.
Like, just to clarify, like on top of all that, he's just like a war criminal, and he's
War
ethnically
criminal,
cleansing Ukrainians.
He's actively G-siding. I don't know if you know this, but he's actively G-siding Ukrainians because Russians have the superiority complex where they don't believe that Ukrainians are actually people, and that there should only be. It's not even white supremacy; it's just Russian supremacy. They don't believe that Belarus are people. Belarusians are people. They don't believe Ukrainians are people. They believe that their bodies belong to the Russians because the Russians owned them first since the Cold War, and even before that with the SARS and all that.
Listen, is there anything else you wanted to talk about before I move on to the next cast?
Yeah, you can move on. I was just trying to. I appreciate y'all too.
No,
Y'all
you're all good. Listen, man, take what I said. Consider everything that we said here. Make sure to fact check, cross reference. Looks like
sir.
you're on the road to like not support Trump anymore. Maybe in a couple weeks you'll come back and say, "Hey, I want to change my mind. I want to be a Democrat." Feel free to come up here, and maybe a couple weeks. I appreciate you coming up here. You take care. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one, bro.
Take care.